Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Paul Rogers and I have a severe TBI. One of the questions that I really struggle with, even now, and I'm 5 years out from my accident, is that answer to the question of how are you feeling or how do you feel? It's a really difficult question for me, and I find it hard, especially when I'm not feeling too good, to come up with what I thought was a good response which can be understood. And that's until I came across somebody called spoon therapy or theory, sorry, spoon theory or spoony life. So I looked into this, and I'm going to share this with you because I think this is a really good way to communicate. It's a metaphor, and I'm a very visual person, so this is a really good way. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump into it. This all came about where a lady who by the name of Christine Miserando had lupus, and she was in a restaurant, and one of her friends says, well, you don't look sick, or how does it feel to be ill and sick? So she looked around for what she had on the table, and she had some spoons in front of her. And so this is a really good way of explaining energy. Spoons. One spoon represents energy. Most people's currency day to day is time. Our currency is energy. And this is not just physical energy, it's emotional and mental energy. So this is a really good way of making something which is invisible visible. And as I said, it's very easy. You don't have to go out and prepare anything. You can just grab what's around you. So let's get into it with a little demonstration of actually how this works. A normal, healthy person would have unlimited spoons. But as an invisible disability, this goes for any autoimmune illness, MS, brain injury, which fits very well, PTSD or anything else. We have a limited set of spoons. Now, in my hand, looks like I'm not particularly good at Texas Hold'em, but there we go. So I've got 12 spoons, and this represents the energy, which is a limited energy because of our disability, which I'm proud of. And so each one of these spoons represents, as I said, a piece of energy. So let me walk you through how this works. I'm going to take you through my day so far. It's only about 11 o'clock in the morning, so nothing too crazy. Let's get this going. So I had a decent night's sleep last night, actually, so I don't have to take away any spoons, because if I had a poor night's sleep, I may have to take away, which will mean that I only start the day with maybe 6 spoons or 8 spoons. But I've had a pretty good night, so we're going to start off. So I got up this morning, 1 spoon. I had a shower, 2 spoons. Took my meds. Really, it's only 1 spoon, only 1 spoon. I have enough tablets in me that I rattle when I walk. And it was icy here today because when I'm recording this, it's still snowing and icy here in Quebec. So I had to scrape the car before I got in it. Another spoon. I then took my little boy to school, which I had to drive to. 2 spoons. Also, I had breakfast. That's left me with 4 spoons for the rest of the day. That means I've got to actually prioritize everything I do now, because in energy cycles, this is all I have left of my resources today. I've got some errands to run later, and I've got to drive into town. It's a little way away, so that's going to maybe take at least 2 more spoons, and then coffee, anything else, and I've got to pick up my little boy. You see, already my budget has been exceeded. Now, in theoretical terms, what you should do at that moment is stop everything, rest, take it easy. But life isn't as easy as that. From my point of view, I struggle to find where my boundaries are because they move every day. Some days are good days, some days are bad days. If I have a pain flare, it will reduce the amount, and it's another energy spoon. I also suffer from PTSD. So if I'm in public and I have a trigger session, that'll take all my spoons in one go. And then I've still got the rest of the day. So my only option is to borrow some spoons from tomorrow. The problem is when I borrow these spoons, that means I start with 3 less or 4 less each time tomorrow, and I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. It also means that these spoons, because they're borrowed, they're on credit. These spoons burn incredibly quickly. Why? Because we've already exceeded our actual daily limit of spoons. So these things, they may look like 3 or 4 spoons, but actually in reality terms, it's only measuring about 2, 2.5. So you're then burning stuff on when you're actually, you have no right to be doing what you're doing. So this is a really good way. It's a very visual way of being able to answer that question throughout the day of how you're feeling, because you actually know where you are and you can give a different answer. And this is useful not only for you to explain to somebody what it's like, to give them an insight into your day, but also for caregivers. They know, they can see where you are. They can say, okay, we can see you've done a lot today, you know, struggling. How many spoons do you think you've got? How's your energy? They may say, well, I'll take care of that for you. Don't worry, I'll go and get your meds from the pharmacy. So that gives them an opportunity to come in to help you. It's a different type of conversation you can then have with somebody. It's a, let me help, let me be part of what you're doing, let me assist you, rather than having to try to explain to somebody, well, I'm not feeling that good. That doesn't mean anything to anyone who doesn't have that type of feelings each day. So the spoons are really, really important, but there's one thing you've got to remember is that you have to always ask the question of what is the activity going to cost? Now, in some things, I think it's worth the cost, and I always pay the cost. Maybe the next day it's not as good a day, or I may actually have to be in bed for a while. So I always have this sort of thing which I learned from when I, in a previous life, was a Swift River rescuer, which jumping into rapids to save people when they're trying to get out. And we always used to ask the question, could I? So can I get in there? Have I got the skill level? Can I do that activity? Yep, I can do that. Should I? Now, if the answer doesn't come back positive on the should I, that's a red flag to say that is going to cost too much. So could I, should I, with the spoons? And it's also, this is helpful for people in the medical profession, because energy is a really subjective thing. And people burn these spoons at different levels. What I have found is that raising awareness and knowledge of this may not give you an extra spoon, but it does make those spoons last that little bit longer. And I'd like to introduce you to this community. Oh yes, I forgot. Regardless of all my spoons, I always keep one, and I get it right way around. I always keep one spoon just for me, which I never give away because this is my last resort spoon. So I keep this close to me. So where can you get into this? Well, first of all, go and raid your cutlery drawer at home. That's the easiest thing. Start talking to people about it. If you go online, there is loads of stuff and loads of guidance about it. It's a massive community. It also means that you join something where there's funny posts and all sorts. A good place to start would be where I got this necklace from, which is the spoonlife.org. Now, this will take you to the magazine which I write for called Aware Now. And I'm also ambassador for PTSD and TBI. So check it out. It's free, lots of different causes, really, really good. And it's a really good way of being able to get involved with other people, a really good way of actually, I've sent these necklaces to friends of mine who I know have been struggling or need some, it's just recognizing a symbol, and metaphors and symbols, they don't require a lot of effort, energy from our point of view, but they can be used to great effect. And I'd see when you try it, you'll see the light just go on somebody and I think, man, that's hard. That's hard. You know, trying to have to every single activity comes in an energy cost, physical, mental, emotional. So I'm going to leave you with that, and hopefully you've got something out of this. Go out and share it. If you want to get in touch with Brain Injury Canada to let them know how you're dealing with it, I'll see you in the Spoonie community. Thank you for listening, and I hope this helps you all.